What's happening, everybody? Steve here, coming to you with another video. Today's Wednesday, September 24th, and I want to talk about the freaking used buy box fiasco that's going on. So if you're selling used books or used products on Amazon and you're selling FBA, you might have noticed that your sales have absolutely tanked, and you're thinking to yourself, what is going on? What happened to my sales? I was doing on average $200-300 a day, and now it's $50 a day, $60 a day. Like, your sales are really slow. What happened? Well, Amazon's back on their BS again, and pretty much they're giving the buy box to merchant fulfilled sellers. Now, some people are saying it's not affecting them. Some people are saying that it's affecting them tremendously. I've got a couple close friends that sell textbooks and do Amazon to Amazon flips, and they said that their sales are down tremendously. I see people in my Facebook group who thrift, who do liquidation, who do bulk, who say that their sales are down significantly. Some people are saying it's not, but like I said, again, what Amazon's doing is they're giving the buy box to the merchant fulfilled sellers, and the FBA sellers aren't getting those sales, which, as you know, 80 to 90% of sales on Amazon come through the buy box. When customers are shopping for a product, they're not going through all the offers and picking the cheapest one. They're clicking the buy it now button, which is the buy box, which rotates. And again, 80 to 90% of sales go through that buy box. So people are kind of freaking out right now about this. And what I want to talk about in this video is a couple of different things. Number one, what is happening right now, which I just mentioned. The buy box is going to the merchant fulfilled sellers. Number two, what I want to talk about is reading the writing on the wall. In business, a lot of times things happen, right? And we say to ourselves, man, that sucked. Like that wasn't good. That was scary. That kind of changes the game, right? But then when something happens, we kind of just ignore it and say, oh, that was just a glitch, or, oh, that will never happen again, or, oh, like, I'm glad we got over that, but I hope that doesn't happen again. But a lot of times history repeats itself, and this is what's happening again. For folks who are selling used products, Amazon, like I said, they're back on their BS. They're back to giving the buy box to merchant fulfilled sellers. And it's a lesson to be learned that if all your eggs are in one basket of selling used, right? If you're only selling used books right now, you're putting your Amazon business in a pretty tough position, right? And I'm hoping, right, fingers crossed, I'm hoping that this glitch or this thing that Amazon's testing, maybe it has something to do with the FTC lawsuits, or it has something to do with maybe just an issue with their code, which doesn't really make any sense. I don't know what it is, right? I've talked about this before in the past. I don't know what it is, but what I want to talk about is I think it's really kind of scary if you're only selling used right now. For me in my business, I'm all new, and the new buy box is fine. My sales are doing great. In the last 7 days, I've done like 20,000 in sales. I've had some of my best days in the last couple of days. While everybody's suffering and freaking out and their sales are tanking, not everybody, but most people I see in the community, my sales are on fire because I'm selling new. And that's kind of one thing that I want to talk about. I notice a lot of people who sell used, they don't sell new at all. And I never really understood why, because new, in my opinion, the items sell a lot faster. There's way less competition. There's way less price taking. There's less people on the listing. It's easier to kind of get the price that you want. I notice that the buy box doesn't fluctuate as much with new versus used. It's easier to list, it's easier to prep, it's easier to inspect because it's a new item versus a used item. And, in my business, I buy everything from eBay to Amazon. So I buy products on eBay, I flip it on Amazon. I mostly flip new DVDs, new toys, new electronics, new home improvement items and tools, office supplies, CDs, board games, video games. I won't sell new books because it's kind of a known thing. If you sell new books, like, Amazon doesn't like it. The publishers aren't like a huge fan of it either. And it's just kind of like a no-no. So I don't sell books as new. I only sell books as used. But I think right now the writing is on the wall that Amazon is doing something. This is the second time they've done it. I'm not saying to stop selling books. I'm not saying that I'm going to stop selling books, even though I don't sell a ton anymore because I don't really thrift anymore. And I'm focused mostly on new for the reasons I mentioned before. It sells fast. The profits are super high, etc. But I don't know why a lot of used booksellers don't dabble with like new DVDs and new CDs, new video games, new toys, right? And I know like it's tougher nowadays to get ungated and restrictions. So I get it if you don't want to go through that process and get ungated, or maybe you've tried to get ungated and you just gave up because you're like, this is too hard, which again, Amazon's not making it easy nowadays. Sometimes you have to submit an invoice 5 or 6 times to get it accepted. So I completely get that, you know, and that's why I push used books a lot to like beginners and stuff, because it's the easiest category to sell. You're going to be able to sell a bunch. You'll get auto ungated over time, so on and so forth. But the writing's on the wall right now. Amazon is up to something, and it's kind of crazy how your business could just be cut in half overnight. And I guess the same thing could be said about me. You know, I'm selling mostly all new. Maybe eventually they're going to do this to me, and maybe I should start selling some more used, right? To add some diversification. But yeah, it's interesting times. I'd be curious what your guys' thoughts are down below. Again, for me in my business, I'm 99% new, so my sales are flying, soaring high right now, getting ready for Q4. I don't have any issues. Account's perfectly clean. You know, I'm still doing eBay to Amazon and everything, but I'm curious, how are your sales if you're selling used? How are you going to pivot? Are you just going to ride through this storm and hope that it doesn't happen again? Or are you reading the writing on the wall and saying to yourself, wow, I've got to make some changes. I've got to pivot. So let me know your comments and your thoughts down below. But with that being said, guys, I'll see you in the next